Hey guys, welcome on back to the AnKorage, and this is AnKorage Extras. This is going to be this year's 2025 Workstation update. So, I'll just get right into it. Not a whole lot has changed since last year. If you'd like to look at last year's, I've got it down below at the platform of your choice, and you can check out that video there. But in any distance of sorts, that's why you're all the way over there, so that you can see it all in general. Very top shelf. All the stuff that was on the top shelf has been removed. It is now in a closet on the other side of that wall. And I've got other stuff up there. I moved my clock up there. I've got the ICANN 2 up there. I've got my Freya statuette. And I've got my mini puffs that I received with my Proton pack from HasLab. On the second shelf, I decided to bring out my Battlestar Galactica DVDs and my other items from that, and of course my notebook, and I've got the patches. I've got a deck of the Triad cards, which is essentially just playing cards in the Battlestar Galactica style. And they've got different words for different things. They're basically, used for playing regular card games. Third shelf is, well, not much has changed there. It's pretty much my Old Norse or Viking shelf, if you want to call it the Vikings. It's the Old Norse. I'm about the people, not so much the raiders, the violent side. So, got all that there. This shelf here, the fourth shelf, this has seen a lot of activity, probably in the last, 5-6 months, maybe. You'll notice that the router is a different router. The one that I had before, which was the WRT 1900 AC from Linksys, well, it died. It was still working. However, the high speed was not working. So that part died. So that is now, if it hasn't already by this point, it's going to be going through the incinerator. So I bought this Netgear item, and of course I had to retrofy it, so I've got some wood green contact paper on the sides, and it looks really good. And of course I've got my spare Raspberry Pi right here. Of course, and I've got a couple of my storage drives. These are the ones that I can just yank off and leave with, and in case there is an evacuation. We did have one event last year where I actually did have to do that. I just pop the cords, throw them in my pockets, and out I go, because it's my sense. It's the data that I don't want to get rid of. I don't want to lose. Granted, I'm in a corner unit, and it can be found should the building come down, technically, but why wait for it to get to that state too in order to get it? So I just up and left. The Raspberry Pi cluster here. The 4 that were in there was CoWoS, Aurora, Uppsala, and Geffen. That's the 4. It's been renamed. It's a cluster, therefore it should be named as a cluster. So I renamed them, host names and everything, to, if you don't quite get it, I'll explain it in a second. It is now named Folkvanger. That is the region of Asgard that is overseen by the goddess Freya. Statuette up there. Hello. She has a hall, which I can't remember the exact name of right at this moment, but this is the region that that's named for it. It's like a prairie. It's got lots of fields. It's got trees. It's very pretty. Very peaceful. Whereas everybody knows about Valhalla. Well, Valhalla is the name of a hall for all of the warriors in Asgard. The Viking warriors and stuff like that. Now that's just the name of the hall. It's actually in a region that Odin oversees in Asgard. However, I don't recall the name of the region off the top of my head. So it's just a flip-flop between Folkvanger and Valhalla, more or less there. So I've got Folkvanger 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. And each of them has their own dedicated purpose. I've got my Monero miner on 1, 2, and 3 are file servers, and 4 is the Pi-hole ad blocking instance that I keep up here. Of course, I don't have anything up on the screens right now outside of this one, which is the Matrix online chat with the Switch to Linux group, because I moderate that for Switch to Linux. And also I chat on occasion if I have something to say. The last thing I ever said was, yep, that was it. Because I agreed with whatever somebody was saying, something that I agreed with. Had to do with a picture or X or something like that, or 2, and Matrix and stuff like that. So, did that. So there's not much else up there outside of a spare CRT emitter that I got from an upgrade kit for the Proton Pack. This was sitting up on the shelves, which are right there, but I recently updated that, and it's less cluttered, and it looks a lot better now. And I was actually told it looks a heck of a lot better. So, and then of course I have a USB stick that I actually built. I bought the casing. It is about 4.5 to 5 inches long, and that's because it has a SATA drive USB adapter, which is what this case is, and it's got a SATA M.2 drive inside of it, and it's a 1 terabyte. This thing's a giant. So this is my everyday random use, miscellaneous use, or whatever. I also switched out the actual shelves. This shelf and this shelf. This was the bottom one. This was the third one. I switched them out, and that is because of the headset hanger. I moved it down to the bottom. I took the headset down. I put that away, and now I've just got earbuds for my phone hanging off of it right now. But you'll also notice that in behind, you don't see any cables. A year or so ago, I went out to the local Dollar Tree, and I purchased a presentation board. And then I painted it on both sides, and because you paint one side and it decides to bow. So I painted it to flatten it out a little bit. And then I painted it the same color as the wall, which is that blue, which I don't really want that blue anymore. Excuse me. But whatever. Everything on the desktop here is pretty much the same as it was. Same keyboard, same desk mat, which the RGB light around the edge is no good anymore. It died out. Only the one corner actually lights up to some level. So I'm like, whatever. I just unplug it. The mat can be used as a mat still. I do happen to keep my tablet here, because I've started using this over the past year. I've started using this a lot more, more so with this. So I'll be sitting over there on the couch, and I'll just have this sitting right next to me so that I can monitor what's going on here. And also, 1 or 2 people will actually message me directly, and I'll get a little thweep. It goes up, gets my attention, and everything like that. Down below, no different. It's the same machines. Solaria on the left, Odin on the right. I changed out Solaria a little bit. I had 2 operating system drives inside of it. The NVMe happens to be Linux Mint Debian Edition, which I've been using for, the Debian Edition, I've been using it since version 4. And we're currently on version 6. So, and then on the other operating system drive, I had Windows 11. And I decided one day in the past year, I'm not using it for anything. It's just there. I've only been running updates on it. That's all I'm ever going to be doing on it. So and it was actually connected to my Microsoft account, and I didn't want that anymore. So I pulled the drive, I archived it, and I never put it back in. I just put it off to the side. And it is now being used on Triton in there. So that's how we're doing that. So Solaria is strictly Linux only, Linux Mint Debian Edition. Odin is still Windows 10, and for the sake of continuity of my processes and what I use it for, stuff like that, I will be upgrading it to Windows 11, but without a Microsoft account. I'm going to do local account only, because I know how. I did this. My test run was with a virtual machine in Odin, which I've shown you. And also I did it with Triton, which has no purpose. It just sits there, and I run updates on it. That's pretty much it. But it's real hardware. So if I want to test anything on real hardware for Windows 11, I've got that to use. I just can't go attaching all kinds of stuff to it. Yeah. So when will I be doing that upgrade? I could do it now if I wanted to, but it's like, it isn't broken, so why try to fix it? So there we go. Over the past year, now you'll notice that I don't have that lavalier mic on, because it's corded. I actually purchased this Hollyland wireless mic because a friend of mine, Tom, from Switch to Linux, he bought one and he started using it, so I have to ask him what he happened to use, because I like that and I'd like to be able to use it with my videos. And so he told me, and when I first got it, I was having a lot of problems with it. It wasn't connecting. Well, that's because it's trying to connect to a stereo audio on the camera. And then I realized after some time that the camera is only capable of mono. So, but this can be switched over to mono, and this is the little case for it. I've got the other microphone right in there. There's a set of 2 microphones and a bass unit, so that's pretty cool. So I could pick whichever one I want to use. So that's cool. But, you probably can't see it right now, but sometimes when the lighting is right, you can see the green light on it. I've got a little trick to kind of deaden that a little bit. I've done it with these Raspberry Pis up here. I've got some black enamel, model enamel from Testers, and I just put a glob on the light, and it doesn't make it go out. I can still see it, but it is a lot dimmer. So I'm planning on doing the same with this thing, so that this doesn't shine really bright all that much. I also bought, thanks to Tom, a couple of these little lights. These are basically stage lights, I guess, not in the full sense. They're small. to help light up things. This one I actually use on the camera. I don't need to right now because it's a sunny day and I've got a lot of light coming in, so I don't have to be using it right now. And plus, because of the needed required angle for the shot, I did that. However, when I'm sitting over there doing videos over there, I'll put this on the camera and I'll put the microphone receiver off to the side. And but you know, the idea is to have these up like this, but they are so stinking bright. So I mean, I may still use them for that. I just have to figure out lighting intensity and stuff like that, because they are very bright, and they are USB rechargeable. And I could do warm light, I could do daylight light, essentially. So that's pretty much it for this video. So thank you very much for coming along, and we'll talk to you later. So thank you very much. Skál, drink to victory.